Abraham, the man who trusted God. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jesus Alone. Today, we are looking at the inspiring story of Abraham, a man who became known as the father of faith. Abraham's journey began when God called him to leave his home, his family, and everything familiar to go to a land that God would show him. Imagine being told to leave everything behind without knowing exactly where you were going. Yet Abraham obeyed. He trusted God and set out on a journey of faith. God made a powerful promise to Abraham. He said, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you." But there was a problem. Abraham
Do
and
not
his
lay a
wife
hand on
Sarah
the
had
boy.
no children, and they were already very old. Years passed. Then more years passed. Abraham waited and waited. Sometimes he struggled to understand God's timing, but he continued to believe that God would keep his promise. When Abraham was nearly 100 years old and Sarah was 90, God performed a miracle. Sarah gave birth to a son named Isaac. What seemed impossible became possible through God's power. But Abraham's faith would face its greatest test. One day, God asked Abraham to offer Isaac, the very son through whom the promise was supposed to come. Abraham did not fully understand, but he trusted God enough to obey. As Abraham prepared to sacrifice Isaac, God stopped him and provided a ram instead. God never intended for Isaac to die. He was testing Abraham's faith and obedience. Because Abraham trusted God completely, God renewed his promise and declared that through Abraham's descendants, all nations of the earth would be blessed. The story of Abraham teaches us that faith is not just believing when things are easy. Faith is trusting God when we cannot see the outcome. Abraham waited for years, faced difficult tests, and still chose to trust God. Maybe you are waiting for a breakthrough, a job, healing, marriage, or direction in life. Abraham's story reminds us that God's promises may take time, but God never forgets his word. If God has given you a promise, keep trusting him. What seems impossible for people is possible with God. Thank you for watching. If this message encouraged you, please like, share, and subscribe to Jesus Alone. May God bless you. And remember, faith grows when we choose to trust God one step at a time.